Hello students and welcome back to our class. Today we will discuss about permutations, which is a continuation of the topic on counting principles which we had done earlier. So let us begin with our topic for today, permutation of sets. So basically all of you might be having some idea about arrangement of objects. Suppose I have two objects A and B. So if I write it in this order, that A first and B second, this order is different from writing B first and A second. Okay, these two are very different objects, arrangements, right? So if you have two distinct objects, there are two ways of arranging the objects. Okay, suppose you have three distinct objects, then A, B, C is one arrangement. Okay, another arrangement is say A, C, B. Okay, another arrangement is say B comes first and then A, then C. Another arrangement is B comes first, C, then A. Okay, another arrangement is C comes first and then A and then B. And another arrangement is C comes first and then B and then A. Okay, so if there are three objects, you see the number of arrangements is quite large. Okay, so there are six arrangements, six ways we can arrange these objects. Okay, so the objects could be anything. What matters is the number of objects that we are dealing with. Okay, so let R be a positive integer. Let R be a positive integer, and so an R permutation of a set of n elements. If you have a set of n elements and you take R objects from that set, okay, and arrange them. Okay, so in how many ways can you arrange? Okay, so this is what basically we will try to find out. Okay, so each such arrangement is called an R permutation. Okay, so an R permutation of a set S of n elements means an ordered arrangement of R of these n elements. Okay, from the n elements we take R elements and then arrange them. Okay, so that gives us an R permutation, right? So for example, if the set is this, that means we are having two objects A and B, then one permutations R. So what are the one permutations? You take one object at a time and arrange them. Okay, so you take A at a time, so this is one arrangement. You take B, then this is another arrangement, and these are the only possible one permutations of this set. Okay, so the two permutations of this set are what? We should take two elements from this set. So if we take two elements, say A and B, so this is one arrangement and BA is another arrangement. So these are the only possible two permutations of this set. Okay, similarly, if we have the set ABC of three objects, then one permutations of S are given by A, B and C. These are the one permutations. Okay, we are taking one at a time. Two permutations of this set are, you take A first and then followed with B, then take A first followed with C. Okay, next you go to B first followed with the other element, that is A, then B first followed with the other element, that is C. Okay, then start with C followed with A, then start with C followed with B. So there are six two permutations. Okay, there are six two permutations of the set having three elements, right? Then the three permutations of S are what? A, start with A, okay, and then write B and C. Okay, keep A fixed and just change the order of B and C. So this is the best way of writing the permutations. Okay, keep the first element fixed, then write all possible arrangements of the other elements. Okay, so here also, suppose I keep B fixed and write all other possible arrangements of the remaining two, because we have already seen how many ways two objects can be arranged. They can be arranged in two ways among themselves. Okay, two permutations of the set of two elements. So there are only two ways. Okay, you start with C, then arrange A and B. Okay, A, B and B. So these are the only possible three permutations of S. Okay, so again say let us try with something bigger. The three permutations of S equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you have a set having four elements. Okay, so how do you list all the three permutations of this set? That means you have to take this is what I have written. This is the set of four permutations. Okay, sorry for that. This is the set of four permutations of S. Okay, so the four permutations of S equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 are what? You start with 1 and take all possible arrangements of the three elements 2, 4 and 3. Okay, so we have already seen in the in this earlier example that if you have three objects, then the 3 permutations are 6 in all. There are 6 ways of arranging. Okay, so we keep one fixed. Okay, keep one fixed, then 2 3 4 2 4 3 3 2 4 3 4 2 4 2 3 and 4 3 2. These are the 6 arrangements of the remaining 3, right? Then keep 2 in the first place. So again there are 6 arrangements of the remaining 3. Okay, keep 3 in the first place. Again there are 6 arrangements of the remaining 3, right? Keep 4 in the first place. There are again 6 arrangements of the remaining 3. Okay, so in all there are how many arrangements of this? There are exactly 4 multiplied with 6 multiplied with 4. Okay, so it's 24, right? So there are 24 4 permutations of the set 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, so the 2 permutations of S equal to say 5 6 7 9. Now suppose I have 4 objects and I want to find out the 2 permutations of this, right? That means I have to take 2 at a time, objects 2 at a time. Okay, so how will you list them? 5, you begin with the first element and write all possible elements in the second place. Okay, so all possible elements are 6 7 and 9. Only these 3 are possible. Start with the second element, that is 6, and write all other possible elements in the second place. Start with the third element, that is 7, and write all other possibilities. Okay, start with the fourth element, write all other possibilities. So there are 12 in all. Okay, so here we have listed as of now, but is the listing always necessary? What if there are many objects? Okay, in that case the listing will be quite difficult. So the question is it necessary to list all possibilities in order to find the number of R permutations of n objects? The answer is no. We have the multiplication rule. Okay, so in the above case, what is happening? First place can be filled in 4 ways because there are 4 options: 5 6 7 and 9. Okay, so first place can be filled in 4 ways, and for each way of filling the first place there are 3 options for the second place. Okay, see, we have already seen here, if the first place is 5, there are 3 options for the second place, right? If the first place is 6, then also there are 3 options for the second place. If the first place is 7, then also there are 3 places, the 3 options for the second place, right? So for each choice of first place there are 3 options for the second place. So by multiplication rule, number of 2 permutations is 4 into 3. Okay, 4 multiplied with 3, that is 12. Okay, so we can generalize this concept and note that the elements in the set may be anything. All that matters is the number of elements in the set. Okay, so we have already seen examples with A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay, the objects may be anything. So we have a symbol now. The number of R permutations of n element set is denoted by Pn, R or NPR. This is the more widely used notation, NPR, right? We also call it as number of R permutations of n distinct objects. Okay, or the number of permutations of n distinct objects taken R at a time. Okay, usually this is the language that is used in higher secondary classes. Okay, the number of permutations of n distinct objects taken R at a time. Okay, so that is denoted by NPR. Okay, so in our new notation we also say it's the number of R permutations of n distinct objects. Okay, so that is denoted by NPR. So now let us try to find out a formula for NPR, right? An n permutation of n element set is simply called a permutation of S. Okay, or permutation of n objects. That means if you permute all the objects taking all at a time, okay, then it's just called a permutation of objects, right? So it is to be remembered that the order or arrangement of the elements is very much important in permutation. AB is not same as BA. This is what we have to remember, right? So this is the theorem. Let n and R be positive integers with R less than or equal to n. Then your NPR is equal to n multiplied with n minus 1 multiplied with n minus 2 multiplied with n minus R plus 1. Okay, so it keeps on decreasing by 1, right? So in constructing an R permutation, so we will just apply the multiplication rule. It's very simple. In constructing an R permutation of an n element set, the first element can be chosen in n ways because there are n objects, right? The first element can be chosen in n ways. and for each choice of the first element there are n minus 1 choices for the second element, because I cannot repeat. Once I choose one object, that object cannot come again. Okay, so for the second place there are n minus 1 choices, for the third place there are n minus 2 choices, for the fourth place there will be n minus 3 choices. Okay, similarly for the rth place there will be how many choices? N minus r minus 1, that is n minus r plus 1 choices for the rth element. So by multiplication rule of counting, the r elements can be chosen in this way: n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into n minus r plus 1. Okay, so NPR is nothing but the product of terms, numbers from n minus 1, n minus 2, okay, up to n minus r plus 1. Okay, so we will develop a simpler formula for this, or that we all of you already know. So before that, you please note that NPN, what is NPN? By this above formula, it will be just n into n minus 1 into n minus 2, and the last r will be replaced by n, so it's n minus 1. That means starting from n, we come by decreasing one at each step, we come up to 1. Okay, so it is nothing but the number of the product of integers from 1 to up to n. Okay, so NPN, it is the number of permutations of n distinct objects, right? Total number of permutations of n distinct objects, okay, taken all at a time. That means the permutation of n distinct objects. So it is actually equal to the product of all numbers from 1 to n. Okay, all positive integers from 1 to n. So this quantity is quite special, and it is denoted by factorial n. Okay, this is nothing but we call this as factorial n. Okay, so you can use this symbol or you can use this symbol. I prefer to use the second symbol, right? And so no matter which symbol you choose, always maintain the same symbol. Okay, do not mix up the symbols, right? So this is read as factorial n or n factorial. Okay, so NPN is equal to factorial n. That means n distinct objects can be permuted in factorial n ways. Okay, so now we can develop a shortcut formula for this. NPR is n into n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus r plus 1. So 1 by 1, at each step the numbers are decreasing by 1, right? So ultimately, as we go on continuing this process, at some stage we will reach 1. Okay, so we will means after n minus r plus 1, you decrease this by 1 again. So it's if you subtract 1 here, you will get n minus r. After that again subtract 1, you will get n minus r minus 1. So if you keep on doing this process, ultimately you will end up with 1. Okay, right? Because n is a positive integer. You keep on reducing, subtracting 1, ultimately you will end up with 1, right? So what we are doing, we are multiplying the numerator and denominator by 1 into 2 into 3 into up to n minus r. Okay, so the fraction remains same, right? The quantity remains same. So in the numerator, what is this? By definition, it is 1 into 2 into 3 into up to n. It is factorial n. And what is in the denominator? It's 1 into 2 into 3 up to n minus r. So it's factorial of n minus r. Okay, but provided n is not equal to r. Okay, if n equal to r, then we get 0 in the denominator, so that's not possible. Okay, so for n not equal to r, we have this NPR is exactly factorial n by factorial n minus r. Okay, so for r lying between 0 and n, okay, we have NPR is factorial n by factorial n minus r, right? Now suppose I want this formula, because we have something called NPN as well, and I want that the same formula should hold for NPN as well. So in that case there is a problem. If r becomes equal to n, then in this formula it's factorial n by factorial 0. So we don't have any concept of factorial 0, because factorial of a number is the product of numbers from 1 to up to n, right? So by definition of factorial, it's defined only for a positive integer, right? So we need to work out something here so that our notation is very convenient, right? So if we want a similar formula for the case when r equal to n, then we need to define factorial 0 as 1. Okay, this is because NPN is 1, already we have seen. The number of permutations of n distinct objects is factorial n. Okay, so if we want that NPN should satisfy this formula, so we should define factorial n by factorial n minus n to be factorial n. That means factorial 0 has to be defined as 1. So that is why the convention is taken as factorial 0 is 1. Okay. So likewise we also adopt the convention np0 is 1. Okay. So np0 in that in terms of number of arrangement of objects, it doesn't make any sense. Okay. Number of permutations of n objects taken 0 at a time, none at a time. Okay. So how it doesn't make any sense. But just for notational convenience, we just define it to be 1. np0 is defined as 1. Okay, so npr, so that is why npr can be written as factorial n by factorial n minus r, where r lies between 0 and n, including 0 and n. Okay, right. So some observations that you can make is factorial n is 1 into 2 into up to n, and if we put this first n minus 1 terms together, then this can be written as n into factorial n minus 1. Okay, similarly I can take factorial n minus 1 n minus 1 outside, so I'll get factorial n as n into n minus 1 into factorial n minus 2. Okay, I can also take n minus 2 outside, so I'll be left with factorial n minus 3 inside. Okay, so this happens. Then the first 10 factorial numbers are factorial 1, which is 1, factorial 2 is 2, factorial 3 is 6, factorial 4 is 24, factorial 5 is 120, factorial 6 is, just keep on multiplying, so it's 720, factorial 7 is 720 multiplied with 7, it's 5040. Okay, factorial 8 is 40320, factorial 9 is 362880, right? So it's 3,62,880. Okay, and factorial 10 is already 36 lakh something. Okay, so thus factorials are very rapidly increasing numbers. Okay, they increase very rapidly. Observe that for n greater than or equal to 5, the unit digit of factorial n is always 0. Okay, so we have used this concept in many of the problems. Okay, for n greater than or equal to 5, the unit digit of factorial n is always 0, because factorial 5 is 120. Yeah, then from factorial 5 onwards, everything is multiplied with successively multiplied with 120. So obviously the unit digit is always 0, right? So all factorials are even except factorial 0 and factorial 1. Okay, and factorial n is also divisible by all numbers from 1 to up to n. Okay, it is also divisible by larger numbers, right? Larger than n numbers, but at least it is divisible by 1, 2, 3, all numbers from 1 to up to n, right? So say some simple example, how many 4-letter words can be formed by using each of the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G at most once. Okay, you can use it at most once. That means you cannot repeat. Okay, so given number of letters is 7, and number of 4-letter words without repetition of letters that can be formed is same as number of 4 permutations of 7 letters. Okay, so that's 7p4. So it's factorial 7 by factorial 7 minus 4, and you can compute it this way by the formula that I had given. We can take 7 outside, 6 outside consecutively. Okay, and then what will remain is factorial 3. So factorial 3 will get cancelled. So as per our denominator, we will expand the numerator. Okay, so that we can do the cancellation part. So it's 840. Okay, 5 into 4 is 20. 20 multiplied with 42, it's 840. Okay, what is the number of ways to order the 26 letters of the English alphabet so that no 2 vowels occur consecutively? Okay, the vowels should not occur consecutively, right? So that means what? Between any 2 vowels, there should be at least 1 consonant, right? So since no 2 vowels can occur consecutively, so between any 2 vowels, there should be at least 1 consonant, right? So now there are 21 consonants in all. Okay, total number of consonants is 21, but number of vowels is 5. Okay, so the required arrangement, in the required arrangement, the 5 vowels should be placed in the 22 spaces before, between, and after the consonants. Okay, so let me just explain this part. So yeah, you can see this in this diagram. So this is these are the places for consonants. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6, 7. Okay, so that way there are 21 places for the consonants. The places that I have marked with dash, these are the places for the consonants. So what should happen to the vowels? The vowels should be placed anywhere on these spaces in between. Okay, I cannot place 2 vowels together. That means between any two vowels there should be some space. It means there should be at least one consonant. Okay, so the 5 vowels have to be placed in these spaces. Okay, before, between. Okay, these places are between the consonants, and this place is after the consonant. Okay, so total there are 22 places for putting the vowels. Okay, so the vowels can be arranged in 22 P5 ways, right? So it's like 5 permutation of 22 objects. Okay, and these 22 places will act like 22 objects, right? So the problem is actually the number of 5 permutations of 22 objects, right? So here so it's 22 P5 ways, and for each arrangement of vowels, okay, for each arrangement of vowels, the consonants can also be arranged in factorial 21 ways, right? Because say I put A here, right? I put say A here. Okay, say I put A here, then I put B here. Oh, sorry, E here. Okay, and then I put say I here, and O somewhere here. Okay, U somewhere here. So for this particular arrangement of vowels, there are factorial 21 arrangements of the consonants, right? So ultimately we have to apply multiplication rule here also. Okay, for each arrangement of vowels there are factorial 21 arrangements of the consonants. So the total number of arrangements will be 22 P5 multiplied with total number of arrangements will be 22 P5 multiplied with factorial 21. Okay, so that comes out to be a very big number. I thought of calculating, but later it's quite complicated. Okay, so we can leave it up to this 22 P5 multiplied with factorial 21. This is the total number of arrangements, right? Then we have circular permutation. So till now we have done, whatever we have done is linear permutation. We are arranging the objects in a straight line. Okay, but if we have a circular arrangement, in that case the number of arrangements becomes less. Okay, so for that you observe that the following arrangements of 1, 2, 3 around a circle are equivalent. Say 1, 2, 3, right? This arrangement, if you go this way, 1, 2, 3, this arrangement is same as the arrangement 2, 3, 1 is same as the arrangement 3, 1, 2. Okay, so because one is obtained by rotating, just by rotating the other. Okay, right, each can be obtained by rotating any one of the others. Also the following are equivalent. See, 1, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1 and 2, 1, 3. Okay, but you see this 1, 2, 3 and 1, 3, 2, these two are not equivalent. You cannot obtain the 1, 3, 2 by rotating 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's not possible, right? So if we have 3 objects, we can arrange them in linear permutation, we can arrange them in 6 ways, but in circular permutation we can only arrange them in 3 ways. Okay, sorry, not 3 ways, 2 ways. Okay, this is one arrangement, this is another arrangement. Okay, so let us see how to compute how many ways are there to arrange in a circular table, right? So those 1, 2, 3 can be arranged around a circle only in 2 ways. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 is another one arrangement, 1, 3, 2 is another arrangement. So number of circular arrangement is only 2. Okay, so thus each arrangement of n distinct objects around a circular table can be rotated to obtain an equivalent arrangement. Okay, so the nth rotation brings us back to the original position. Okay, so say for example this is the original arrangement maybe. Okay, so if you rotate it, if you give it one rotation, see this particular the darkened dot will come at this position, right? Give another rotation, it will come at this position, and give another rotation, it will come back to the original state. Okay, that means each arrangement has actually n equivalent arrangements, right? Each arrangement has n equivalent arrangements, right? So this is what we are saying. Thus there are n equivalent arrangements for each circular permutation of n objects. Okay, but the total number of permutations, linear permutations, was factorial n, right? So but in this case each n permutations, each circular permutation has n equivalent arrangements. Okay, so the number of this circular permutations of n distinct objects will be total number of permutations divided by n. Okay, so it's factorial of n minus 1. So this is where we are applying the division rule. Okay, so total number of elements in the set is factorial n, and the set can be partitioned into some parts each having n objects. Okay, so the number of parts will be factorial n by n. Okay, this is the division rule. So this can also be seen as argued below. We keep one object fixed. Okay, you keep one of them fixed, then other n minus 1 objects can be arranged in factorial n minus 1 ways. Okay, around that fixed object, the others can be arranged in factorial n minus 1 ways. Hence, the number of circular permutations of n distinct objects is factorial n minus 1. Okay, so we can generalize this also. The number of circular R permutations. The number of circular R permutations of n distinct objects is NPR divided by R. Okay, so how to show this? It's number of R permutations of n distinct objects is given by NPR. Okay, for each circular R permutation, so just as I explained, for each circular R permutation there are R equivalent arrangements. Okay, if we rotate R times, we get back to the original position. So each of these R arrangements are equivalent, right? So for each circular R permutation there are R equivalent arrangements. So the number of circular permutations will be NPR divided by R. So this is also by the division rule of counting. Okay, so in particular, when R equal to n, the number of circular permutations will be NPN divided by n. Okay, I have missed one n here. It's NPN divided by n, so it's just factorial n by n, factorial n minus 1. Okay, we have already seen how this is happening. So for example, ABCD can be arranged around a circle in factorial 4 minus 1, that is 6 ways. Okay, so one arrangement is this. One arrangement is this. ABC can be arranged around a circular table in this ways, 6 ways. One arrangement is A, then you keep A fixed and just keep on permuting this BCD. Okay, so BCD is one arrangement, BDC is another arrangement. Start with C, so CBD is one arrangement, CDB is another arrangement, right? And similarly start with D, so DBC is one arrangement and DCB is another arrangement. Okay, so number of circular permutations of ABCD is factorial of 4 minus 1, that is 6. 6 arrangements are there. Okay, now I give you some problems, 3 problems which you try. So tomorrow I'll discuss these problems as well, and something on combinations. Okay, so in how many ways can 6 men and 6 women be seated at a round table if the man and woman are to sit in alternate places, alternate seats? Okay, so you try to think how you can do it. Then 10 people including 2 who do not wish to sit together are to be seated around a circular table. How many sitting arrangements are possible? Okay, so there are 10 people. Out of these 10 people, there are 2 people who do not want to sit together. Maybe there is some problem between them. So in how many ways the sitting arrangements can be made? Okay. Then number third one is determine the number of circular permutations of 0, 1 to up to 9 in which 0 and 9 are not opposite to one another. Okay, so there are 10 objects here. So you have to determine the number of permutations, circular permutations of 0, 1 to up to 9 in which 0 and 9 do not appear opposite to one another. That means diametrically opposite. Okay, so please try to do these problems. So in tomorrow's lecture I'll discuss this, and I'll start with combination, right? Thank you.